Good morning.
Good morning.
Yep, my wife is right there. She just finished making breakfast for us. And I gotta show you something I got the other day. It's pretty exciting. So I spent a couple of days pitching to my wife the idea of this new attachment I had to get. Two things I hate the most is circus clowns. No, I'm just kidding. Now, two things I hate the most is weed whacking and leaf blowing. Well, it's the time of year, right? Or leaf blowing. So I absolutely hate leaf blowing. And I got the backpack leaf blower. And I also got this little one. This little one's been working out great around the mulch beds and stuff. But the leaf blow my yard, I have three separate areas. I have the backyard, which it literally takes me probably 3 hours to blow all the leaves out of the mulch beds, out of between the bushes, and blow it all the way over. Basically blow all the leaves from this side all the way over to the wood line. And then I have tried just blowing all the leaves in the middle and blowing them up on top of tarps and then dragging it out into the woods. And it works. And then it's just, and it works, but I have to do it 4 or 5 times before the leaves are all gone, and then I don't have to do it anymore. And then the side yard over here, which is like a small football field, I have no place to keep on blowing the leaves out to the woods because I have to go into my neighbor's property. So I usually just leaf blow all the leaves in the middle on a tarp and try to pull them out that way. And then the front yard is even worse than that. I have no place to blow the leaves. And then down by the side road, I have no place to blow the leaves there. So I'm always blowing them on top of tarps and dragging them. And it's not just once. You know, you're doing it 4 or 5 times before the season or the leaves are gone. So pitched my idea to my wife, and I picked up leaf bagger, grass catcher, whatever you want to call it. So this is the Kubota grass catcher. So yeah, that's the Kubota grass catcher. Love it. I highly suggest one if you're on the fence of getting one. Well worth the money. Of course, I told my wife what I did is I sold the 0 turn to pay for this. But my wife doesn't know I had to buy the Mower Deck too. I left that part out when I was pitching this whole idea. So yeah, I absolutely think it's one of the best attachments I ever done in all my tractors. This is an enjoyment. I'll explain how it all works, but it's great. I would recommend it. It's the model number GCK60-26BX grass catcher. And what I have learned, I guess they had an old version of this. Is my camera working? They had an old version of this where this grass catcher mounted on a carrier type of thing, I think. You mounted some brackets on your tractor, and then there was a carrier thing or something that this whole thing sat on. Well, now it uses it uses your 3-point hitch. But let me explain what that is. You can see here, this connects to the lower arms of your 3-point hitch. There's a pin here. This is a whole system right here. The directions, by the way, are very vague when you're putting this thing together, so it took me a while. So you connect with your bottom linkage here, and then your top arms, you actually mount a plate. Can you see this plate right here? See a plate? It literally just goes on with 2 bolts. Just a plate. You mount one there, and you mount one here. Very, very, very simple. So you basically take your 3-point, these arms that go up to your lifter arms, you take those off and you just move them to the brackets. You do got to spin the top thing. When you go put this back up on here, you got to spin the head the opposite way, or the top part. You got to spin it. So that's all that does. That goes from here to your lift arms when you're not using the bagger. And then you just have your PTO shaft. And then your top link just connects there. But I do got to mention to Luke, I lost the information on getting these turnbuckle things. I hate these things. I know you sent me a link the last time. I lost that. I want to reach out to that guy and get that thing. I can't stand these things. That it has a blower on it, or fan, or whatever you want. I guess you could call it a blower. It doesn't really blow. It sucks and then blows into that. But it does kind of hang off to the side of your tractor a little bit. So if you are in tight areas, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but and this is driven by your PTO, and same with your mower deck. So all you do is keep that in the middle, so you're running the bottom PTO and the rear PTO. And by the way, you might have noticed that your original 3-point hitch comes with this solid one that has no adjustment. So you replace, so if you can see that, this is the original one that was on here. You take this one off and you put that one on. That's about the only changes you need to make to your 3-point hitch. Is remove them from the lift arms, add those brackets, and add those lift arms here, or whatever you want to call them, on those 2 brackets. This is the back. Sorry, I'm chewing a candy. So this is the lid. I can say that the only other thing, not really an issue, is that this tube here is very, very stiff, and opening up and closing opening up the lid is a little bit of a challenge, but they say that tube, that flexible tube, will break in and it'll get easier and easier. So let me open it up. So let me show you first. There's a latch here that when you open up the lid, it'll go in this hole. So I just leave it hanging there, and you'll see why. Because once I get the thing open, it'll click. So you can see how that just falls into that hole, so it keeps it up. But you can see how it's kind of crooked. Is because this hose is keeping it from moving up. So these are the bags. You get 3 of them, and they're super easy. They're super easy to take out. There's a little clip here, and there's a little slot that it fits in. So you just line it up, and that's it. It won't move, it won't fall out, it won't come this way, can't move side to side. So basically, when this thing is full, you grab it, and there's a little handle, and you can shake it out. Works slick. So those are the 3 bags. Took me a while to put this whole thing together. Like I said, the instructions are very vague, but once it started going together, it kind of all made sense. So it wasn't that big of a deal, but at first I was like, oh my god, there's so many parts and so many bolts, but it's really not that bad. So I think anybody could possibly do it. So the next thing is, because I just added this mower deck, didn't really have my mower deck height set properly, and my anti-scald wheels, these wheels set properly. So when I started, it was late, by the way. I did the deck one day. I got that thing all mounted. That took me a while. Again, I always struggled like that with that. Even back when I had my BX25D, I still had a trouble mounting that thing on and off. I don't know what it is, but I had a struggle for one night putting that on. And then the next night, actually it took me a couple of nights to do the bagger, because I was getting home from work late, and it gets dark early. So it took me a couple of days. So I was running around like crazy. So I didn't break out the camera because I was on borrow time. My favorite thing, borrow time. I just didn't have the time. But I did do the backyard, and I got a little bit of phone footage. I recorded it on my phone. I got a little bit of that, but not much. But because I was cutting the grass in, picking up leaves, sucking up leaves, that the bags were filling up pretty quickly. So you kind of have this window that you can look in to see if you can turn right around in your seat and kind of look in here and see where your bags. I found that I had a hard time seeing in it. And they have another window here, which I'm not too sure if that's just to see if it's clogged or something. But so after learning a few, running down a couple of strips, I would stop and open up the lid, and then pack it down, each bag, pack down the leaves and grass, and then keep on mowing. And then I learned really quick that you need to check it often, pick them up, and I just go out and dump them. So I had to dump a lot. Well, my whole point was I had to dump the bags a lot because I was cutting the grass way too short. And it was pretty hard because I've been waiting, because I sold the zero turn, and I was waiting to get my bagger and my mid-mount deck. So the grass was a little long, so I had to wait. So I was cutting it, and then the deck was down too low. It wasn't the greatest first experience because I was dumping the bag a lot. So then I got home last night, and I got the deck height set like 3.5, 3/4, and the whole backyard was full of leaves again. You can see how they're full of leaves again. Just one night. I did it last night when I got home. It's all full of leaves again. But I did the whole backyard, and the bags, the 3 bags were like this much on the bottom of them. So I don't need to dump, and I don't need to check them as often. So that's a good thing. What else is there? So I got a tape measure so we can see what you're curious what the size is. You have to keep that PTO shaft, you have to keep that as level as possible. So just to show you that when this thing's level, your 3-point hitch is going to be about 11 inches off the ground. If that matters to you at all. Also, I should have pointed out too, is that when you go to take this off, there's legs right here. You pull these pins, and this leg drops down like a T. It looks like a T. And you got 2 of those, and then you got one that looks like an L. So there's 3 of them. So you drop them down and put the pins in there. We're sitting on a stand, so when you undo it, the bag and everything will sit standing straight up, supposedly. And the only other thing that you probably might be concerned about is that from the ROPS, or from the back of the tractor to the back of your bag, is approximately about 34 inches. So I found that out too. The thing sticks out quite a bit behind the tractor. So if you're going around trees, and you're going up near fence lines, so when you're turning, this bad boy could smack up against it. So it does stick out, like I said, about 34 inches off the back of the tractor. So off to the side of the tractor, off the side where this boot is, it's about 18 inches that it hangs off to the side of your tractor. And I went with the 54-inch deck. Maybe I should have mentioned that. I went with the 54 because my yard does have some tight areas, and I didn't want to go with the 60. And the 60 just weighs a ton, even though this one does too. But to save a little bit of weight, and I really needed something more narrow, so I went with the 54. Off the back, is like 16 inches. You can stand back here, kind of give you the side view of how much it adds to your tractor. I think it's well invested money. I mean, for the few times I'm going to use it, I'm probably going to most likely get 5 or 6 times, maybe 7 times during the fall to use it, and then maybe a couple of times in the spring just to do some cleanup. And it's pretty much just going to sit there. But I'll tell you, carrying around that backpack leaf blower, like I said, I would be out here for hours. My neck, my shoulder, my back, everything would be killing me. At least this is what I pitched to my wife. And I asked her for a lot of back rubs. And I got one more thing coming. I'm picking up one more little attachment, and I will share that on the next video. I highly recommend getting yourself a bagger. Alright. I'm excited. And I'm excited that you watched. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time out to click on this video. You know what I'm doing all day today? I'm going to be on this baby all day. Alright. Thanks for watching. And please like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.